What if the very drink you love each night, the one that's become a comforting routine, helping you relax, unwind, or feel just a little better, was quietly damaging your heart? It's slowly, silently weakening the cardiovascular system that has supported you for decades. And one day, it may strike when you least expect it. As a heart doctor, I've seen countless seniors walk into my clinic smiling, saying, "I only drink a little just to help me sleep." But they walk out with diagnoses they never anticipated: high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, even the early signs of heart failure. The truth is, most older adults don't realize how dangerous this habit really is. It's not about drinking too much or partying on weekends. The real harm comes from a daily habit that feels harmless, sometimes even healthy, but is slowly wearing down your heart's rhythm, strength, and resilience. That's why in this video, I'm not just sharing information, I'm sending you a heartfelt warning. If you're over 60, please stop drinking these 5 specific alcoholic beverages. They're doing more damage than you think. But don't worry, I'm not here to take the joy out of life. I'll show you what's safe, what's not, and how you can make simple changes while still enjoying your day. And the first drink on the list, it might already be in your hand. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss a health tip made just for you. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make it better for you next time. A glass of red wine every night is good for the heart. It's one of the most persistent myths I hear from older adults. You've probably heard it too from a friend in a magazine or even on TV. And I get the appeal. It feels elegant, almost medicinal. But as a heart doctor who has treated thousands of seniors, I have to be honest with you, after age 60, that nightly glass isn't helping your heart, it's quietly wearing it down. Here's why. As you age, your body processes alcohol differently. Your liver slows down, your heart becomes more vulnerable, and your blood pressure more sensitive. That simple ritual, even 1 glass a night, can gradually raise your blood pressure, weaken your heart muscle, and increase your risk of atrial fibrillation, a heart rhythm disorder that triples your chance of having a stroke. I've sat beside many patients in the ER who believed they were doing everything right. But their irregular heartbeat, their silent high blood pressure, it all traced back to this one habit. Even more concerning is how wine, especially at night, interferes with your sleep. It might make you feel sleepy at first, but it leads to light, broken sleep. Poor sleep raises your cortisol levels, your body's main stress hormone, which puts even more pressure on your heart. And if you're taking medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol, alcohol can interfere with how those drugs work. In many cases, it cancels out their benefits entirely. I'm not here to take away life's small joys, but I am here to protect the rhythm that's been keeping you alive for decades. Your heart deserves more than a habit rooted in outdated advice and clever marketing. So if you've been holding on to that nightly glass thinking it's healthy, I urge you to rethink it. Your heart doesn't need ethanol, it needs hydration. And when it comes to hydration, what you drink matters just as much as what you eat. Let's talk about one of the oldest beverages in the world, light, inviting, seemingly harmless, yet quietly fooling your taste buds and harming your aging heart after 60. Now on to point number 2. Beer, easygoing and refreshing but quietly harmful. Many older adults reach for a cold beer, believing it's the safer, lighter option. And it's easy to see why. Beer commercials paint a picture of laughter, relaxation, and a laid-back lifestyle. After a long day, cracking open, a beer feels like a small reward. Refreshing, calming, and harmless, or so it seems. But let me speak to you not just as a doctor delivering warnings, but as someone who has held the hands of patients who never realized the quiet damage their daily beer was doing to their heart. Beer is deceptive. It doesn't hit you like hard liquor. It doesn't carry the sophistication of wine. But inside every can or bottle lies a mix that's quietly dangerous for the aging heart. As we get older, our metabolism slows down. The sugars and starches in beer are quickly converted into belly fat. And that's not just a cosmetic issue. Belly fat, especially visceral fat, around your internal organs acts like a toxic factory. It releases chemicals that inflame your blood vessels, raise your blood pressure, and slowly clog your arteries from the inside out. Most of my older patients don't drink to get drunk. They drink to unwind one beer, with dinner another, while watching the news. But even 2 beers a day can silently lead to high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, and over time, a weakened heart that simply can't keep up. I've seen it happen slowly, then all at once. What's worse, beer often replaces water, and that's a big problem. Seniors are more prone to dehydration, and beer only makes it worse. Dehydrated blood is thicker, harder to pump, and more likely to form clots. So while beer may feel light and casual, its impact on your heart is anything but. I'm not here to judge your habits. I'm here to remind you how precious every heartbeat truly is. Sometimes one small change, like swapping your evening beer for a tall glass of water or herbal tea, can give your heart the relief it's been quietly craving. And if you think beer is the only sweet-tasting danger hiding in your glass, think again. Because the next drink on our list is dressed in sugar and served with a smile. Cocktails sweet on the outside, dangerous at the core. There's something almost celebratory about them. They're colorful, festive, and often served with a smile. For many seniors, a well-crafted cocktail feels like a reward, a little luxury, a way to unwind or relive fond memories. But beneath the sweetness, the tiny umbrella, and the fancy glass, there's a truth we don't talk about. Enough cocktails are one of the most deceptive threats to your heart after 60. You see, they're not just alcohol. Cocktails often come loaded with syrups, cream-flavored liqueurs, and sugar. So much sugar. And that combination of sweetness and alcohol becomes a dangerous mix, especially for older bodies. As we age, the pancreas becomes less efficient at regulating blood sugar. Our arteries grow stiffer, and the heart becomes more vulnerable to inflammation. Every sugary sip adds to insulin resistance, weight gain, and dangerously high triglycerides, all serious enemies of an aging heart. Even worse, the sweetness masks how strong the alcohol really is. It's easy to lose track of how much you've had, especially during social gatherings or quiet evenings at home. And because cocktails don't taste like traditional alcohol, they can be more tempting, sometimes even addictive. I've seen seniors who never drank whiskey become regular cocktail drinkers, never realizing the silent toll it was taking on their blood pressure and their heartbeat. Even just a few cocktails a week can trigger or worsen arrhythmias, especially atrial fibrillation, which significantly raises your risk of stroke. It doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, invisibly, until one night your heart skips a beat and doesn't recover. I'm not asking you to give up joy. I'm asking you to protect the heart that has carried your laughter, your memories, and your strength through every season of your life. There are still ways to celebrate, ways that don't cost your heart its future. But if you think cocktails are where the risk ends, think again. Because the next drink on our list is clear, quiet, and far stronger than it looks. The hard liquor in your glass. 4 hard liquor, whiskey, vodka, brandy. There's a certain quiet strength to hard liquor. It's straightforward, no sugar coating, no fluff. Just a glass of whiskey, a splash of vodka, or a sip of brandy to take the edge off. For many older adults, this simple ritual feels like a symbol of resilience. It's a way to relax, to reconnect with younger days, or to find comfort in routine. But as we age, the body no longer handles alcohol the way it used to, and the heart especially becomes far less tolerant. That seemingly small glass, it now carries a much heavier impact, not just in alcohol content, but in how quickly it affects your body. Hard liquor hits fast and hard. It causes your blood vessels to constrict, suddenly leading to sharp spikes in blood pressure. This is risky at any age, but after 60, when arteries are stiffer and the heart is working overtime, it becomes downright dangerous. I've seen patients rush to the ER with chest pain, dizziness, even full-blown strokes, all triggered by what they thought was a harmless nightcap. The damage isn't always immediate. It builds up slowly, silently. Over time, it wears down your heart's rhythm, its strength, and its ability to stay steady. What's even more concerning is how often these drinks are consumed in silence alone, in the quiet before bed. A sip to ease the mind or soften the loneliness. But that silence hides the strain being placed on your cardiovascular system. Your liver takes longer to break down alcohol at this age. While that's happening, your heart is under pressure. It beats harder. It beats out of rhythm. And you barely notice until something suddenly goes very wrong. If you're on medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol, hard liquor can interfere with them in unpredictable and often dangerous ways. At this stage of life, it's not just about how much you drink, it's about how your body handles it. And the truth is, it doesn't handle it well anymore. So before you pour your next glass, ask yourself, is this really making me feel stronger or just helping me forget I've grown weaker? And speaking of forgetting, there's one more drinking habit many turn to when seeking rest. But this one quietly robs your health in the name of sleep. Let's talk about alcohol as a sleep aid and why it's more harmful than healing. 5. Drinking to sleep. A quiet habit that steals your rest. As we get older, sleep often becomes more elusive. The nights feel longer, thoughts grow louder, and the silence after sunset, it can feel almost too heavy. In that stillness, many older adults reach for a small glass of wine, a splash of whiskey, or a mixed drink before bed, hoping it will gently carry them into sleep. I've had countless patients tell me, it's the only thing that helps me drift off. And I don't doubt that. But here's what many don't realize: this habit may be quietly stealing from your heart, night after night. Yes, alcohol can make you feel sleepy at first, but it interferes with the natural rhythms your body depends on to truly rest and repair. It disrupts REM sleep, that deep restorative phase where your heart recovers and your blood pressure resets. Instead of resting, your heart is pushed into overdrive while you sleep. Your breathing becomes uneven. Blood pressure can spike, and you wake up feeling groggy, anxious, or with a racing heart. Most people never link those symptoms to the drink they had the night before. What's more troubling is how quickly this sleep aid can become a nightly ritual. What starts as a one-time nightcap becomes a habit, one your body builds tolerance to. Soon you need more alcohol to feel the same effect, while your heart grows more fragile with every sip. There's a painful irony here. The habit meant to bring peace becomes a hidden source of harm. I've seen it firsthand, patients living alone, dealing with loneliness, turning to alcohol, not just to sleep, but to silence the ache of solitude. But there are gentler ways to transition into rest, ways that support your heart instead of strain it. Try soft music, deep, steady breathing, herbal tea, or the simple power of dimming the lights and turning off screens early. You deserve rest. Real healing rest. And your heart, the engine that's carried you through a lifetime, deserves the chance to recover fully each night. But if you think alcohol only harms in the quiet of the night, wait until you see how it lingers into the day, showing up as high blood pressure you can't even feel. 6. Sugary and diet sodas. The silent saboteurs. Not everyone drinks alcohol. In fact, many older adults have never touched whiskey or wine. But what they do reach for daily, even multiple times a day, is a can of soda. It seems harmless, light, refreshing, maybe even a better choice than alcohol? But let me be clear, you don't need alcohol to weaken your heart. 1 can of soda a day can quietly inflame your blood vessels and throw off the steady rhythm your heart depends on. Sodas, whether regular or diet, are among the most deceptive drinks on the shelf. That fizzy sweetness, it often hides a harmful punch, either in the form of refined sugar or artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose. With each sip, these ingredients trigger inflammation in the arteries. They raise blood pressure, increase triglycerides, and over time, chip away at the strength and coordination of your heartbeat. And it gets worse. Many seniors believe switching to diet soda is a smart move, but studies show artificial sweeteners can still increase the risk of stroke and heart failure, especially in aging adults. Your brain may be tricked into craving more sugar. Your body, meanwhile, responds with insulin resistance, weight gain, and rising cholesterol. I've seen it too often. A patient with no history of alcohol use no obvious risk factors, suddenly facing heart rhythm issues and high blood pressure, all while drinking 2 cans of diet soda a day. What's tragic is how normal it all feels. Grabbing a soda with lunch, pouring one over ice while watching TV. The habit doesn't raise alarms until the symptoms show up, and by then, the damage is already unfolding. So before you open your next can, ask yourself, is this helping me stay alert and refreshed, or slowly exhausting the one organ I can't live without? There are better ways to hydrate. Water, herbal teas, even fruit-infused water. These nourish rather than stress the heart you've carried through a lifetime. And if you think the dangers stop with what's in your glass, stay with me. Because what I see next in my clinic is what truly connects all these drinks together. 7 energy drinks. The heart's hidden trap. They come in small cans, Red Bull Monster Sting, marketed as a quick boost of energy. And on a tired afternoon or after a restless night, it's easy to think, why not? Just this once. But here's the truth. Most labels won't tell you even one small energy drink can send your heart into overdrive. Energy drinks are loaded with sky-high levels of caffeine, sugar, and compounds like taurine, all designed to jolt your system into alertness. But for older adults, that jolt is more than just stimulation. It's a shock to the heart. With age, your cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive. The sudden surge from these drinks can cause your heart rate to spike fast, hard, and dangerously irregular. I've seen it happen to patients who never drank alcohol or smoked a day in their life, but who relied on energy drinks to fight fatigue. The effects can feel subtle at first, maybe just some jitters, a skipped beat, or shortness of breath. But under the surface, something far more serious is unfolding: elevated blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythms, and in the worst cases, cardiac arrhythmias that send people straight to the ER. What's worse is how these drinks are used. Often they're not enjoyed with meals or sipped slowly. They're slammed down in moments of exhaustion when the body is already weak and the heart is trying to keep pace. It's a perfect storm, and most people don't see it coming until it's too late. If you've ever thought of energy drinks as a safe alternative to coffee, think again. The combination of excessive caffeine, artificial stimulants, and sugar makes them one of the most dangerous beverages you can choose, especially after 60. So before you reach for that, can pause and ask, is this really giving me energy or forcing my heart to pay a price I can't afford? There are gentler ways to regain focus and alertness. Hydration, a short walk, breathing fresh air. Even a cup of herbal green tea offers a lift without the crash or the cardiac risk. Because the truth is, some people never live long enough to feel the long-term consequences of energy drinks. Their hearts give out first. I see what many can't: a heart under stress, blood vessels inflamed, silent damage building up from habits that once seemed harmless, especially alcohol. I've held hands in emergency rooms, spoken to sons and daughters who never saw it coming. The patient often feels just fine until suddenly they don't. That's what makes alcohol so dangerous after 60. The damage is silent, invisible, and gradual. It doesn't knock, it crashes in. A stroke, a heart attack, a heart that simply can't keep up anymore. And yet there's good news: the human body, even after 60, is still capable of healing. It doesn't ask for perfection, just attention. One small change today can ripple into years of better health and peace of mind. Skipping that drink tonight, checking your blood pressure more often, talking openly with your doctor. There are tools built just for you, apps to track meals, remind you to take medication, or suggest healthier choices without judgment. It's not about control. It's about giving your heart a real chance at more time. So the question isn't, is it too late for me? The real question is, am I ready to begin? And if something in your heart is stirring right now, maybe you already have. Because what matters most is not only what you avoid, but what you choose to protect. Your heart has carried you through a lifetime of joy, pain, responsibilities, and love. It never asked for anything in return. But now, it's asking for your awareness, your care. Those drinks that once felt social or comforting, they may now be quietly hurting the very organ that's kept you alive. But here's the most important thing. It's never too late to choose differently. Every small decision matters: drinking water instead of wine, asking one more question at your next checkup, saying no thanks to that evening cocktail. Your heart doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency and kindness. This isn't about giving things up. It's about gaining more time, more mornings, more laughter, more strength. It's about being fully present with a heart that's not just beating, but thriving. So today, choose one small change. Just one. Your future self will thank you. Your family will thank you. And most of all, your heart will know it was never forgotten.